fast. 400 on the dash, 55 bills, but 50 for the taste on the bag.
Hey guys, welcome back to another video. Today I'll be ranking all the challenge runs I've done in 2019 in order of difficulty from easiest to hardest. To clarify, seasons will be categorized by years, so challenge runs in 2020 will be called Season 2 and so on. I've had a ton of fun making this video, and it's always been my aspiration to produce this kind of content along with movie reviews. Since I cannot stream it to YouTube through Xbox, this is the closest I can come to Let's Plays. I personally enjoy it more. These videos take close to a weekend to film, another weekend to put together the clips, edit, and add voiceovers. Taking all this into account, I'll try to produce at least 6 a year. With all that said, let's get on to the ranking. Going to this run, I thought that beating Dry Rock Gulch with only a Kami Whacker would be my hardest challenge yet. However, it was incredibly easy due to multiple factors that benefited me. The Kami Whacker wasn't as bad as I thought it was, and adding the blade made it a formidable weapon. A rolling pin or another abysmal weapon would have exponentially increased the difficulty. Also, Dry Rock Gulch exclusively features bloodworms, which are melee enemies and have no ranged attacks. With a melee weapon facing ranged enemies, this could have been a lot harder. To add to all of that, Dry Rock Gulch seems to have the shortest campaign of all the parks, making this challenge stupidly easy. The only difficulty spike I encountered was in Mad Mulligan's Mine, but other than that, this challenge was a piece of cake. Maybe if instead I went to Katy Kingdom and did it, but the sad part is I already beat Katy Kingdom a while back, and Katy Kingdom's like the same thing as Dry Rock Gulch, but it's like has harder enemies, more of them, and you also have to fight some ranged enemies, so I think that overall, Katy Kingdom would have been a much better fit for this challenge. I'll admit, this challenge was sort of a dud. My original plan was to complete Unlikely Valentine with only an unmodded pipe pistol, but that was impossible. I was severely underleveled and had very few healing items, so I ended up chickening out and using an unmodded 10mm pistol, which admittedly is still a pretty terrible weapon. When comparing the two pistols, there's only a 5-point difference in damage though, so it was not like it was stupidly easy. Even with a 10mm pistol, I still found plenty of adversity. The challenge run was fairly difficult because of me being underleveled and the unmodded pipe pistol or 10mm pistol being trash, but it was miles better than it could have been. This challenge run was also kind of boring to be honest, and it was a drag to film. This would have been my least favorite run to film due to the sheer monotony of the challenge. I never had to think out of the box, and that kind of disappointed me in a way, as all my other runs required me to do that. Anyways, let's move on, shall we? The final mission in Black Ops 2 is by far the hardest, and for good reason. So I figured out if I could beat this level with only a pistol, the rest of the game should be completable. This is the first run on the list where I legitimately struggled. Due to the pistol's low ammo capacity and range, killing the massive amounts of enemies was certainly a pain. One part in particular stumped me, however. There were 2 APCs and I was running low on ammo. There was an ammo crate nearby, so I spent like 10 minutes continuously firing my rounds into the vehicle. It didn't die, and I needed to destroy it to continue. Luckily, I was wrong. I'm 90% sure this vehicle is immune to non-explosive weapons, so if this part was not skippable, the challenge run would be impossible. Running past it was tricky, because when it shot you, you canceled your sprint, but it was overall manageable with practice. The rest of the mission was still nothing hard, but nothing compared to the aforementioned section. Now, on to number 2. Being the runner-up by a small margin, the pacifist run of Just Cause was very stressful and hard. At any moment, I thought the run would be over due to some required kill, yet that moment never came. I loved this run, as I had to be creative in almost every move, and no part of this run was easy. Baiting the helicopters and not using the train cannon, and taking the train into battle without killing the onslaught of enemies certainly made for a great challenge. This game is certainly not made with the pacifist run in mind, so I had to abuse the game's mechanics and holes to make my way through this run. While this run was still trumped by number 1, it is certainly earned a spot on the list and has to be my most nerve-wracking run. The run felt delicate and like it could end at any second of the challenge. And now for number 1. Wow, where do I start? This was the hardest run without a doubt. Take all the issues from number 2 and magnify them, and you get this run. Meleeing every enemy to kill, especially without the Enforcer beatdown perk, seemed impossible at times. The difficulty really began to ramp up when entering the Rossi Fremont compound. Hordes of enemies swarmed me, while I could only beat up one at a time via a lengthy animation. I could only kill Enforcers with multiple grenades, or the scarce stage hazards that were very hard to hit. There were plenty of parts during the compound where I considered giving up, but through plenty of persistence, I pushed through. The hardest part had to be the boss fight with Iraq. The multiple enforcers and heavily armed guards on a roof with little cover. This segment alone took me an hour. While being a piece of cake in around 5 minutes in the regular game, this challenge run increased the length and difficulty by tenfold. And that concludes the video. I made a tier list for all of them if you guys want a visual representation. Thank you guys so much for watching the videos. I've always wanted to do this, and you guys have made this possible. I can't wait to film more in 2020, and I'd like to wish you guys a Merry Christmas. I hope to see you guys all next year.